I think with Arthur Smith coming over as the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, him calling the plays, I really think that Matt Ryan's going to take a leap, possibly be in the MVP conversation. I know a lot of people are going to be surprised to hear that, but with the weapons, Kyle Pitts coming over in the draft, Julio Jones, I don't believe the trade rumors that are out there. I do believe he'll still be here in Atlanta in 2021, and for the foreseeable future, I don't see Julio moving on. And then with Hayden Hurst being here, with that double tight end set, with that 12 personnel, I really think that Arthur Smith's going to be able to do some things with Matt Ryan in this offense. And it's kind of similar to that Kyle Shanahan 2016 West Coast style offense where everything is predicated off of the run. So the play action pass is going to be lethal off that run game. And with Calvin Ridley on the outside, Julio on the outside, and then Kyle Pitts, a weapon you can use in the slot and a guy that you can use on the outside who's just basically like a knife. Basically, you can use him as a Swiss Army knife. He can do pretty much everything with Kyle Pitts. Put him in the slot, put him on the outside. He's not only a tight end, but he's mainly like a hybrid, like the Travis Kelce's of the world. So I definitely think that Matt Ryan this year, if you look over the last 10 years, 4,000 passing yards pretty much every season. I think that you see that leap from last year to this year, mainly because Dirk Cutter was a guy who didn't have the skills to call plays and scheme guys open the way that I think Arthur Smith will be able to do with a Matt Ryan. If you see the way he took Ryan Tannehill, a guy that was struggling in Miami, was able to come over to the Tennessee Titans and basically took that guy from being a guy that the Dolphins didn't want and basically got rid of to a guy that got a new contract and was able to beat out a guy like Marcus Mariota. So I definitely think that Matt Ryan is a much better quarterback than a guy like Ryan Tannehill. And I definitely think that Matt Ryan has a lot left in the tank. I know a lot of people think he's done. I think Matt Ryan has a lot left in the tank.
Now, Drew, describe to me how important you think this offseason is for Matt Ryan and Kyle Pitts, especially Kyle Pitts being a rookie, for them to get that chemistry going, the talks and some of the workouts. How important do you think that'll be?
I think it's huge. And we all know, I don't know if they're doing it this year, but Matt Ryan usually has a passing camp where they go to California, the receivers and the skill position players, the running back. They go out there and catch passes. I did hear Kyle Pitts saying after he was drafted that Matt Ryan basically called him or texted him and said, look, let's go have lunch or have dinner. And I'm sure those guys were doing that so they could go meet up somewhere on a field, whether it's at the Falcons facility or maybe somewhere in California where they can actually go out there and work on some routes and things of that nature, because we know chemistry is huge. And that's a big reason why I don't want the Falcons to get rid of a guy like Julio Jones, because Matt Ryan has basically thrown every touchdown Julio Jones has caught in his career has come from a guy like Matt Ryan. So the chemistry that those guys have, I think that's something that you can't overlook. I know a lot of people are like, well, Kyle Pitts is a guy that can come in and can do similar things to Julio, and he does have the skill set. But I think the biggest issue is going to be he doesn't have that chemistry with Matt Ryan. And you've seen that kind of with a guy like Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley, when he first came in his first couple years, he had to develop that chemistry with Matt Ryan because everything is based off of timing. When the receiver and the quarterback or tight end and the quarterback, everything is 3-step drop, 5-step drop. I'm stepping back when that back foot hits on that 3rd step. I'm letting the ball go, and I'm throwing the ball to a spot because Matt Ryan is a guy that throws off of anticipation. So if you're a guy that doesn't know how to run routes the way he wants you to run, run the routes, and you don't understand coming back to the football and things of that nature, you're going to, cause a lot of turnovers, interceptions, tip balls. And that's something that you've seen out of a guy like Calvin Ridley last season, where Matt Ryan and his timing kind of was off the first couple seasons with Calvin Ridley. So even though Kyle Pitts is one of those guys that's athletic, I think it's going to take a couple years for him to develop that chemistry with a guy like Matt Ryan, the chemistry that him and Julio has.